Greetings. I'd like to read to you from John chapter 11, verses 1 through 6. I'll be reading to you in the New Revised Standard Version. The story I'll be sharing here is, I would say, Act 1 of Lazarus being raised. Hear the word of the Lord. Let God's Spirit speak. Now a certain man was ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. Mary was the one who anointed the Lord with perfume and wiped his feet with her hair. Her brother Lazarus was ill. So the sisters sent a message to Jesus, "Lord, he whom you love is ill." But when Jesus heard it, he said, "This illness does not lead to death. Rather, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Accordingly, though Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, after having heard that Lazarus was ill, he stayed 2 days longer in the place where he was. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Some have said when they've heard this story that it lacks a certain amount of compassion. And I think we need to keep in context who Jesus is and the mission and ministry he is about. As we read in the opening chapter there, John's Gospel, John the Baptist gave witness of who Jesus is. He said he was before himself, with the idea that Jesus has always been an eternal kind of being. He's been with God from the very beginning to the present, and has now stepped into our reality. With this in mind, Jesus brings as his mission and ministry a sense of hope into a broken world. Of course, we hear emphasized here that Jesus loved Lazarus. He loved Mary and Martha. They were very, very close friends of his. But he also knew how the story would unfold. And in the unfolding of this particular story, Lazarus being raised, what he would give them is a greater hope than they already have. Probably the point of the opening here is just specifically that, to lay the groundwork to let us know that Christ's compassion is great. Comes into a world to give us hope and a sense of peace. And this world, of course, is fallen, it's broken. People take ill. They take ill even to the point of death. And all of us experience loss. Jesus had seen loss from God's eye perspective. He also seen loss himself. We don't read of Jesus' father here in the Gospel, or any of the other Gospels, as he comes to maturity. Certainly as a carpenter, as an average type of person, is being fully God and fully human. Loss was common, especially in that small village where he made his living. What he brings with him is a vision of hope, a vision of trust, and knowing that he is not only Lord of the living, but he's Lord of the dead. And he has the keys to life and life eternal. Start out with knowing this relationship of his is close with these three. He loves them and they love him. He's going to share a greater hope yet when Lazarus is raised from the dead. In fact, it's a hope that's eternal, that all of us will be able to see, even centuries later. Hold fast to the hope that Jesus is indeed Lord of life. He has the keys to life itself, and it's a life eternal with hope, that we might live this life with its gains and its losses, its blessings and its hardships, with a sense of knowing that God is present, God is compassion, and that God cares. God cares for us all. God cares for you. Lord be with you. God bless.